Hey everybody, welcome back to the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. My name is Scott. If you're new to this channel and you're looking for reviews of different whiskeys, such as bourbons, ryes, American style whiskeys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to hit the bell notification. That's going to alert you to when I'm doing new uploads, live streams, things like that. So I'd like to say a big thank you to WILDRYE Distilling out of Bozeman, Montana for sponsoring this review. So today from Whiskey Acres Distilling out of DeKalb, Illinois, we've got two of their whiskeys, a straight bourbon whiskey and a straight rye whiskey. But before we get into the review, roll that intro. So today from Whiskey Acres Distilling Company out of DeKalb, Illinois, we have two whiskeys. We have their straight bourbon whiskey and their straight rye whiskey. So what I generally try to do when I'm doing a bourbon and a rye is we'll start with the bourbon and work our way to the rye, just so that the rye whiskey isn't influencing the overall nosing and tasting of the bourbon. So first let's start with the straight bourbon whiskey. Mash bill on this was undisclosed. This is going to be bottled at 87 proof or 43.5% ABV. Non-age stated. MSRP for this is right around that $40 to $45 range. So why don't we first start with the bourbon, and then we'll work our way towards the rye whiskey. So as you can see, a really nice kind of color to that. So we know with it being a straight bourbon whiskey that we're talking about a minimum of 2 years old. So really nice color on that. Really kind of a mahogany-ish type of color. So, and as you swirl it in the glass, really wants to kind of stick to the glass really, really nicely. So, all right, let's get into the nose. So right away you get this kind of nice corn sweetness, a nice butterscotch nose to that. Definitely some vanillas there. A light cinnamon kind of coming through. Even a bit of a mint kind of coming through on that as well on the nose. Yeah, really, really nice nose. Even getting a little bit of a peanut butter type of note to that. Some of those berries, some of the kind of the dark fruits, the dark berries kind of coming through. Very interesting. All right, let's give this a try. Cheers. First impression with this is a nice rye spice to that. Don't know what the mash bill on this one was. I wasn't able to find it for the bourbon, but really nice rye and oak balance to it with that vanilla sweetness up front. A bit of a butterscotch note there as well, with this kind of toasted marshmallow type of note to it. Creamy on the mouthfeel. Yeah, that toasted marshmallow or that toasted note is really starting to kind of come through. The oak is there for sure. That rye spice is really, really nice. A slight amount of mint to that as well. Yeah, really, really nice kind of balance to that. So finish-wise with this, you're probably on the medium side with a nice kind of sweet oak flavor to that. Again, that little bit of butterscotch is kind of coming through on this. But that rye spice is kind of just sitting on the mid to the back of the palate with that kind of vanilla sweetness layering on that. So yeah, really, really, really nice. Yeah, and that corn is kind of coming through. Again, with it being, you know, aged a minimum of 2 years, you're going to have that corn presence to it, but really, really nice. Just really good balance to that. So, all right, let's move on to the onto the rye. And again, the finish on that's probably on the medium side. Again, balancing with that oak, a little bit of mint that's there. The vanillas, the kind of caramels, things along those lines. A lot of the standard bourbon notes with just a little bit more kind of mint to that one. So, all right, so let's move on to the, so this again is their straight rye whiskey. Mash bill on this I was able to find, so this is a 75% rye, 25% corn mash bill. Also 87 proof or 43.5% ABV, non-age stated. However, it is a straight rye whiskey. MSRP for this is right around that $45 range as well. So, all right, let's get into the nosing. Well, the color on this very similar actually to the bourbon, a nice kind of lighter mahogany type of color. So, and again, as you swirl it in the glass, kind of really wants to do one of those kind of, I mean, it's sticking to the glass really well. So as it kind of forms that circle of where it swirls to and the legs begin to run, it's really, really, really nice. So, all right, let's get into the nose. So right away, that mint is really kind of coming through. You know, again, that rye spice, I would say, like, my initial thought is up front that it's a really nice kind of straightforward standard type of rye nose where you're getting hit with that kind of mint, maybe a little bit of dill. The rye is definitely coming through. You know, a little bit of vanilla that's there. Some cinnamon actually coming through. Even a bit of like a little bit of a baking or baker's chocolate type of note to that. Some cinnamon. Very, very nice nose. So, all right, let's give this a try. Cheers. So my first thought with the palate is it's really nice and kind of rich and creamy. That rye spice is there. A subtle amount of mint. I was getting more mint or dill on the nose than I am necessarily on the palate, but it lets you know that it is a rye whiskey. There's still some of that mint to it. But a really nice, fantastic, creamy mouthfeel. Little bit of heat, again, 87 proof. You're not expecting there to be a lot, especially as you kind of get into it a little bit and your palate kind of warms up to the proof. There's almost no heat to it. Nice vanilla note to it, some oak. Slight amount of cinnamon to it. Yeah, really nice, just kind of straightforward rye whiskey. I really like with this the mouthfeel of it. That's important. I mean, just when it kind of coats the mouth really well, and that allows for you know, the finish just to kind of linger there a little bit longer. So it really kind of coats the mouth well, allows those flavors to kind of still kind of pop a little bit. So yeah, really, really nice. Well-balanced rye whiskey. Really, really easy to sip on. I think it would be really nice just from a flavor profile standpoint, you know, in a cocktail. You know, for a cocktail, I'd like to see maybe the proof be a little bit higher, but I think the flavor itself would kind of override the proof part of it. So really, really nice rye whiskey. So also, as you'll see, there are some other whiskeys that are lined up kind of in front, and that's more of their artisan series. And I think at some point down the road, I'll get into these in either another review or a live stream, something along those lines. But to try to do, you know, 6 different whiskeys at one time could kind of, you know, shock the palate a little bit. So I wanted to kind of do those, you know, individual. So again, we've got their straight bourbon whiskey, straight rye whiskey from Whiskey Acres Distilling out of DeKalb, Illinois. So again, I'll have information about them linked in the description below. So give them a look, check them out, and see if that's something that would interest you. So with that being said, like, subscribe, leave comments. I'm always interested to know whether or not this is something that you've had, tried any of these expressions. If you've had any of the artisan series, I'm interested to know kind of your thoughts on some of those as well. So with that being said, like I say, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.